thank you everyone for your time so far today, for anyone that's been in any of our previous sessions throughout the day, and those who've just come across from our e-learning demo. Hopefully you found that useful for today. So Brett and I are going to introduce ourselves first off. So Brett, if you click a couple of slides on, there we go. So I'm one of our account executives here at Fliplet, so focusing very much on helping our clients understand the art of the possible with Fliplet, introducing new concepts, new ideas through the fantastic Fliplet platform. And then my colleague Brett Johnson, who's one of our senior customer success managers, will be providing you with a demo of our event template today. Cool. So first off, Fliplet has a number of templates. You've seen a few of them already today. Our most popular template we're starting to see more and more of as the world comes back to normality, or a newer normality, has been our event template. So over the years, we've had an event app, and we have looked to improve that to the point where most of you, if not all of you who are on this call today, have been using our online events app to navigate through, join different sessions and see what's going on in the Fliplet ecosystem. Obviously, from the perspective of today, this is very much a single online event with multiple sessions that you're able to dip and dive in and out of. But with our event app, and we've recently updated it and making more and more updates as time goes on, there are a number of ways in which your organization can benefit from using an event app, and whether that's for internal or external or client-facing reasons. And our app typically supports 3 normal use cases. So we usually have like a single app. It will all be built out the same platform that we're going to show you today, but an app to be used for a particular event. I don't know, a conference that maybe you're running for your organization, your employees to attend on an annual basis. You may just launch a new app every single year, or just refresh an app every year using the Fliplet platform to do that. We then have today's event, which could be a hybrid event. If you imagine there's the ability for you to attend in person, but also join these sessions over Zoom, you could utilize the app to navigate around where you're going, but also to understand what's going on in the sessions, whether you're there in person or remotely on your computer. And then finally, a real popular area we're seeing, certainly when it comes to things like webinar series and maybe events that firms are running, businesses are running on a bi-weekly, monthly basis, is the ability to actually run multiple events from one exact screen. So you can see actually on the screenshot on the left-hand side, you've got 3 events that a user is able to choose from. That's absolutely perfect if you run events on a regular basis and you're able to dip and dive. So let's say there's an event next week, I can register for it, maybe see what's going on ahead of time. And obviously once it's finished, maybe I still want to access materials and those sort of things. So there's a lot of real value and use case in doing that. And again, I don't need to teach you to suck eggs here, but when might you consider using an event app? And we are going to do a poll along these lines later on. So conferences, retreats, summits, ceremonies, webinars, offsites, workshops, and training. So they're just a few examples of where you might consider using an event app with Fliplet. If you can flick on one, please, Brett. Perfect. So again, we've spoken about the typical ways in which you might use the app and sort of events, but why should your organization, be thinking about using an event app for your business? And we've got a few sort of key pointers that we've highlighted here. Now, we're speaking to a lot of businesses about this. As I say, it's probably the most popular conversation I'm having at the moment, but it's about that competitive advantage. You want to stand out. You want to be different from other people out there in the marketplace. You want to be able to highlight how innovative you are, how forward thinking you are. And actually nowadays people expect these things to be on your devices. So I think, it gives you an opportunity to do that in an easy environment such as Fliplet. Again, control, with Fliplet, it's your app. You've got control how you want your app to look, feel, and be experienced by the end user coming along to that event. I think it was mentioned earlier in our product roadmap, we're doing things like the ability for you to improve and run your own event as such in terms of the agenda. So I might be wanting to see a few things, Brett might want to see different things on the same day. So we're going to start to bring that in, and we are seeing clients already doing that sort of thing. Removing manual processes. Every business we speak to wants to improve the way in which they're operating. How can they automate things? How can they make things easier? How can they repeat things? And that's exactly what we offer here within our event app. Analysis. I think, when we look at events and the success of events, and I know we'll certainly be doing it later with our events manager, is actually who's even attended the event? What have they done? What have they interacted in? What have they learned? And what do people like and what don't they like? We can do a full analysis after this event today and say, where have people been clicking? What have they been looking at? Who's been involved in discussion forums? Who's been asking questions? Who's been interacting in different ways? There's some real key information that you can glean from using the Fliplet event app and other apps that we have as well, of course. Again, one key box number of businesses are going through environmentally friendly. You don't need to print things out anymore. Even when we think about, the online capability like we've got here, you're not having to fly in or get trains or travel everywhere. Actually, by using an event app like this online is much more environmentally friendly. But equally, we know people want to see people in person. So actually, where you'd normally turn up for events, you'd have manuals and big old guidebooks that maybe have been, you've chopped down a few trees in the process. No more, by using the Fliplet event app. And then finally, increase sales, the ability for you to share materials, easily collect additional information. You look through the Fliplet app today, you can have a look at some of the materials we've got that can find certain information that helps you navigate around things in the future. So there's some of the key things that you can then utilize and follow up with people. You may know where they've clicked, if they've been showing particular interest in an area of your event, a particular product you're selling. Well, there you go. It gives you an opportunity to reach out to that organization pretty seamlessly. I'll now pass over to Brett to do his bit and show you through the demo.
Yep, thanks, Dave. So we'll do a demo in a second. I just wanted to walk through a few things in the template. And actually, my colleague, Sophie, has just recorded a video on setting up the template for the first time and setting up your first event. So hopefully we'll have that live in the Help Center shortly. A couple of things to keep in mind. Dave mentioned all the different types of events that you can use the app for. We would still recommend that you generally have the same type of event in the app. So I wouldn't say that you want to launch an app to the public store that has, maybe a one-day client seminar, and then also add a company-wide multi-day retreat to that same app, because the functionality is going to be fundamentally different. Your branding might be different. The features and the design need to be shared across all of the events in the app. So you may have a couple versions of this template, but it's not going to be like it was previously. Anyone that's used the older version of the Fliplet event template, where if you have the same event every year that you're having to copy the whole app. Now you're just updating the content inside of your existing app. Also keep in mind that when you have users in the app, they are for the whole app. You then give them access to each specific event that they're supposed to see or be part of. So you can keep events private or restricted in some way and allow people to access them. But just keep in mind that you have users that could be attending multiple events within the app. And then the last thing is that there's another access level that's kind of been added. Admins are designed to manage the entire app, while event managers set up their individual events. So just keep those in mind as we jump into the demo. So let me go ahead and open up Fliplet Studio here. So just jumping right in on the mobile view here, onboarding slide. I'm sure many people are familiar with this. It's just going to explain the app. We'll then go to the login. If you take this template out of the box, you're going to have these login details provided here. So we give you admin accounts and different access levels for you to test and view. And then once I'm logged in, I'm going to have a few sample events here. So I have 3 different types of events. And since I'm logged in as the admin, I get access to an admin menu. Let's go ahead and jump into this first. We'll explain some of the admin features, and then we'll go through a regular user. So the admin can manage the separate events inside of the app, manage the users. Again, these are people for the entire app. So some of these people may only go to one or a couple of the events that you have. Manage awards. So awards, we have a gamification system where users are rewarded for engaging with the app. But these awards are for the app as a whole. We don't want you to get the same award if you're doing the same thing that you did last week at a different event. And then lastly, exporting data. Admins will be able to come in and export any of the information for any of the events. So you can kind of choose your event and choose, export the agenda, hand that off to the event manager or anyone else if they want to reuse it. So that's kind of the admin menu itself. Now let's actually jump into one of the events. I'll choose a partner conference here. The first thing that happens on mobile is you're taken to an event info screen. So this is going to generally kind of explain, maybe how to get to the event, general information about the event, the Wi-Fi password I've seen people include on this screen, a variety of different things. But we'll actually skip down to the event manager and focus again on the setup. So in the settings menu, again, I'm logged in as an admin. I'm also the manager of the for. So I can go in and adjust the details. So when you're first setting up an event, you're going to be able to add all of the different users, including speakers, attendees, things like that. You can add them in one by one. You can use our bulk import feature, or you can potentially integrate and sync that data over to the app. When I add a user, I am able to specify, a variety of their different details. I can set a password for them and actually email them that information. I can also make them an event manager. And going back to the menu here, the event info, again, is something they can adjust. The agenda, so having these different sessions, having polls, surveys, and questions for each of these are all things that the event manager can set up. If it's a physical in-person event, you can set a link to the floor plan screen, which I'll show you shortly. Have associated materials for this specific session. Make it optional. So as Dave mentioned, you can have personalized agendas. So certain people only see certain events. Add the speakers for the event. And again, specify the questions, the survey, and the polling for each session. Okay, there's a handful of other features. If we go all the way back to the admin menu here, you're really just adding all of your data, but then you're also able to send out communications. So I can send email or push notifications from within the app itself. This is really good if there's critical issues or things change on the fly, as often happens during events. You can check attendees in, pretty straightforward. You get a list of all your attendees, mark them as checked in. You can also check them out later. It's just going to record that timestamp. You can look at all of the user feedback. So this is really, maybe after the event in terms of answering sessions, surveys and questions and polls. And you can also have overall event feedback. I can also close this event. If I want to keep all of this data, but make sure it's not visible to users anymore, I would just mark it as closed. Okay, so that's kind of how an event manager would be able to use the app and set everything up. Let's take a step back here and just start over. And as a regular user, I may have access to some of these events or all of them. Again, I'm going to click into an event. On the mobile experience, again, I'm going to go straight into the event info. However, if I'm on web, I actually get a very different experience. So it's kind of like what you're seeing now if you're looking at the Fliplet Summit app, that you're going to be taken into this, what we call the reception screen. This is going to let me see the event, the next upcoming session, see the full agenda here, again, the event info, and also see discussions. And this is just to help people engage because they're not physically present at the event. If I click on an agenda item, it opens up this sidebar, and you can see in the template, we have a placeholder video. We just have YouTube. You've seen in the event today, we have a Zoom session that's launched. But I can see the information about the current session, the materials, the poll, the questions, attendees for the event, and I can look back at kind of the whole agenda from the screen if I want to look at the next session while the current one's running. So that web experience is, again, just a bit different. And again, that's meant to support those virtual and hybrid events that you may have. Let's go back to the mobile view, back to the event list. And I'll take you through some of the other features that are really shared between the mobile app and the web experience. So again, event info, I can come in here and like, comment, and bookmark. If I like an item, you can see that I got a nice little spurt of confetti there, and it says I've achieved an award. You can set these awards and fully customize them. But this is a nice way we've discovered to encourage usage of the app and get people actually engaging with different features. So, again, liking a post, commenting, submitting feedback, answering a poll, different things like that will be able to trigger that gamification. And as a user, I'll be able to see my awards and my spot in a leaderboard. I'll show you that in a little bit. The agenda is one of the most important aspects, of course. If I click into a session, I can see that there's a variety of different options. So I can again have polls, surveys, questions, and if it's an in-person event, a link to the floor plan. This would actually open up a floor plan. You'd have an image of the event, and it would actually highlight that specific item. Looks like I didn't have that set up correctly. You can also have a list of the speakers and see their profiles here. And again, users can tap on that to load up the speaker and see more information about them. So I can see the other sessions they have, potentially see their contact information as well. And then I can really easily jump back into that specific session. Materials, you may have materials with this specific session, or you may just have general materials as well. I also just want to really quickly show the poll. So we have a poll system built in. As an admin, I get to kind of see these options to reset and see the results, but an end user would just be able to answer the question. Again, I got another award for submitting the poll, and then they'll be able to see the updates in real time, or you could hide that from them and just let the speaker show that as part of their presentation. So moving on from the agenda here, we have a list of attendees and speakers on this screen. So speakers are kind of highlighted across the top. Again, if I click into them, same information that you kind of saw before, that I see their sessions and their contact information. Attendees is very similar. We've got a longer list here, and you can of course search through people, bookmark, maybe you have a list of people that you actually met at the event and want to follow up with, so you have a customized list there. The materials, so again, this could be PDFs, links to online articles or documents, presentation material, all kinds of different options here. And again, they can be associated with a specific session or just part of the event as a whole. Notifications, so you can send notifications within the app. As I mentioned, you can also do that from Studio. Notifications will show up here. You can also send them as push notifications, so people will get them on the lock screen of their phone. Exhibitors, if you're going to have exhibitors or sponsors at your event, you can see a list of them here. And as a user, I can come in here and request a meeting with an exhibitor. So that will send them in an email my information and the message that I put in here. And then if I'm logged in as an exhibitor, I'll be able to see those requests within the app itself. And again, if an event is in person, I can also see their physical location just by clicking on the booth. It'll open up the floor plan and highlight that specific item. Okay. The floor plan itself. So again, this is just an image with these different markers. I can click on the markers, and I can even click on this, specific room number. And again, it's going to show me, here's all of the events happening in that specific room. Or if it's an exhibitor, it's going to take me to their page and show me their information. I can search through bookmarks if I want to see certain things. Or know about specific locations. Discussions, so people can come in here, and by default, anyone can start a discussion. You can customize that, of course, and control that if you don't want anyone to be able to, but I can start a new topic in here and let my colleagues come in here and answer questions, or oops, gotta finish completing that. And I got another award there. Lots of engagement in this app. So people can also come in here and comment and kind of go back and forth and have that discussion. Again, really useful for online, not in-person events. Twitter feed, if you have a Twitter feed for your whole organization or even for the specific event, it can be really useful to include that in here. The awards, as I mentioned, I've achieved quite a few. You can see they're kind of highlighted here. I have a score of 5. You can set the score and the points for each award. And I can also see the leaderboard here of who's the top contributors and what their score is for this event. Feedback. So users can give feedback for the event as a whole. You can fully customize this form and set it up how you like. We have these kind of simple star ratings as an example. Lastly, the settings, users can customize their profile and again, look at the awards, and event managers will have access to the menu, or they can go back to the event list if they wanted to look at another event that they may be attending in the future. All right, so that's about it for the demo. I'll go ahead and go back to the presentation here. And we have a poll that we'd like to set up. Dave, if you could go ahead and start that. So we wanted to ask, what types of events do you think you would use this template for?
Yeah, so I've just shared that now. So we should start to hopefully see some results coming in. Hopefully everyone can see that. So you can pick as many options as you like. You're not limited to one. But it'd be interesting to start to see some interesting results coming through, and we'll share those in a second. So whilst we go through that and we'll let that run for a couple of minutes, then we'll come back to that and share the results with you guys. Couple of questions for you, Brett. So first one was just an observation. It would be nice to create a hybrid app, like an enterprise portal app that contains both directory, events, and e-learning bits.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely launch a portal and have those separate apps. I don't know if it was on the roadmap. I didn't get to see all of Craig's presentation, but I know we are looking at potentially in the future how we can link different apps that are built within Fliplet together. So that's certainly a possibility in the future. Perfect.
I've got a question about the gamification or reward system piece. So the question is in two parts. The first part of it is how does the award system work, and can we customize the gamification to replace the confetti? So I assume by how does it work, it was more of a case of, you know, how does the point scoring system work and that side of things.
Yeah, so I didn't go through the admin setup section, but essentially you are setting a screen and an action that triggers this award. So by going to the event info screen and clicking the like button, that's how I'm getting an award. You can very specifically set those up. We have a list of, I think, about 12 awards in the template that we think are very good, but you're fully able to customize those as you want. The point system, we've very basically, I think, just done 1 or 2 points for different things. You can set that up however you want. The points are going to total up for an event and let you see it on that leaderboard. So I also didn't show, but there's also a comment section as well. So you can have, by default, we have top 10 contributors, which is basically top 10 points, and top 10 commenters. So if you're getting people that are commenting a lot and engaging a lot, they're also going to be part of the leaderboard as well.
Thank you very much. And then another question actually has just come in. So what is the process for creating event room maps? Upload a PDF, then tag rooms from within the event app. How does that process work?
Yeah, so it doesn't work on PDFs. It has to be an image file, but you'll have to upload that through Studio and then use Studio to place markers. I didn't go through that because that is a standard Studio feature. It's not something you can do in the actual app. Obviously, we assume you're probably going to hopefully have the floor plan several weeks before the event and be able to set that up in Studio. But if you look on our Help Center, it's called the interactive graphic component. It's used for more than just floor plans, or it can be, but in this event app, yeah, it's used as a floor plan. So that's that article would help you learn how to set it up. It's very straightforward. You just kind of click a marker, give it a name, and you can change the color and all of that on it.
Brilliant, perfect. And then let's just, if I click end poll, hopefully everyone should see those results have now popped up on screen. So interesting, probably what we'd expect to see conferences sort of up there, given what we do, and maybe other people call them retreats. They are sort of similar things, but onboarding is an interesting one. So I think we've had a few of our clients use this sort of thing to onboard, you know, either trainees, new members of staff, you know, people from other firms. And that side of things, and then webinars, of course, like we've done today. I'd expect to see that on there. Be interested to know what the other was going to be from someone. I don't know if there's an option to give us that, but it's certainly be interesting to see what people are thinking with the other side of things.